All right, are you guys ready? It's time to look at multiplying and dividing fractions. In this video, it's going to be specific to word problems. So we're really looking at 3-12 in this case. Now, when we're doing this, I do suggest following along with me. If you have a piece of paper, that's great. Whiteboard, that's even cooler if you have one at home. Either way, let's work together to go through here so it's not just kind of staring at a screen. So Joe's mom spent $60 at Target. That seems pretty tame compared to what I could do, but oh well. 3/4 of that money was spent on food, and I'm going to bracket this. How much was spent on groceries? So we're going to lump food and groceries together, call it good, but I'm going to revisit this question and I'm going to ask myself, is this multiplication or is it division? So Joe's mom spent $60 at Target. 3/4 of the money was spent on food. How much was spent on groceries? Well, because I'm not dividing that number, I'm not really looking at that, so I'm gonna multiply, and I'm gonna multiply the 60 by 3/4. But that 60 becomes 60 over 1, and the 3/4 stays the same. So I'm going to multiply straight across, and my denominator is going to be 4, and my numerator is going to be the product of 60 and 3. So 60 multiplied by 3 is equal to 180. Now, I'm going to simplify, right? I wouldn't say, oh my gosh, can I borrow 180/4 of your money? That's pretty crazy. Now, the 3/4, I can understand that. But that's how much they were telling us that she did spend originally. So to find that amount, I had to multiply. So I'm going to divide out to simplify the fraction. 4 goes into 18 4 times. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. 18 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 0. 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. So my final answer is 45. Now I don't just leave it at 45. I'm going to have to say $45. So Joe's mom spent $45 on food / groceries, whatever word I want to use. In this case, I think they kind of just go together. So of that 60, I multiplied by 3/4 to find how much money was spent on the food total. So when I do this, and I go back through the questions, I'm really looking for things that, would it make sense to divide this? Did I look for a number that when I divide, it's going to be pretty big because you multiply by the reciprocal. Not in that case. So Emma made 2/3 of a quart of lemonade. She split her lemonade into cups with 1/6 of a quart in each. How many cups will she need? Ooh, you know what? This problem definitely has a word that tells me ding ding ding, it's division. Anybody have a guess? Okay, well, it's not lemonade, but it's going to be the word split. She split this 2/3 into cups that each hold 1/6 of a quart. So I'm imagining this pitcher, that holds 2/3 of a cup, or 2/3 of a quart, and it's pouring it into each glass. I'm dividing that lemonade into individual glasses. I mean, even when I'm describing it and saying dividing in there, I use the word, divide, division. That's what I'm imagining. So if I were to do this, I'm going to first, find the reciprocal, which is 6/1. And then I'm going to, and I just kind of abbreviated on here, the recip, which is reciprocal. I'm going to do the inverse operation. And then I'm going to multiply straight across, which ends up being 12/3. Now, if I were to multiply this like from the get-go, I would have 2/18, which is definitely not the answer. I wouldn't say you get 1/9. That's definitely not. And that's how I notice. Oof! Not only am I dividing into cups, but this answer is more reasonable when you divide. So my final answer after multiplying straight across is 12/3, which I'm going to simplify. And I can simplify that by saying, what number goes in there equally? Well, it's 3, and that becomes 4/1, so 4 cups. 4 cups is how much she will need. You can also do this with a model. That would be a great idea as well. With questions like this, always go back and revisit it. The questions will give you clues, no matter how difficult they are. They're going to give you clues as to like, hey, look at me. This is telling you what operation to use. And that's what revisiting is important for. The Roger family had half of a pizza left over. The next day, Greg ate 1/4 of the leftovers. How much pizza did he eat? Ooh, can't believe they only had 1/2 of a pizza. Man, I would have eaten the whole thing, but I also love pizza. So the next day, Greg ate 1/4 or 1/4 of the leftovers. And that means we're going to multiply. I'm trying to find a product when they had half, which is half a pizza, that's 1/2, and I multiply that by 1/4. I get 1/8, so I know, hey, Greg, you ate 1/8 of the pizza, right? How much of the pizza did he eat? I could even draw a picture of it. I could use a model. So I have this 1/2 that's left over. And I could color it in, do whatever, and I can then split it into 8ths. Now, this problem didn't, in my mind, say, yes, divide me, because I wasn't dividing it over there. Oop, I accidentally hit the arrow. I'm still trying to figure out this iPad thing, but I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it, and that has to be one of the worst pizzas I've ever drawn. But I think it stays, and it kind of works. So by using a model, I'm able to visualize it, and I also like pizza. I'm pretty much going to like any problem with pizza, especially if it means I get to eat the pizza. So I'm totally in. So when I write this, I would write Greg ate 1/8 of the pizza. So that's how I would write that. And you could see just one little corner of that pizza, the one labeled 8, that would be that 1/4 of that 1/2. That's really what I was looking for. To add or subtract wouldn't make sense either. On a 2-mile stretch of road, there is a road sign every 1/4 of a mile. How many signs are on the entire stretch? So these things are evenly placed every 1/4 of a mile, or every 1/4 of a mile. Well, it's going to be division, because I'm imagining these things being placed every 1/4 of a mile. They're evenly distributed. That says to me, Miss Bellman, you need to divide. Now, if I multiplied, I would end up getting an answer of 2/1 multiplied by 1/4, which is 2/4, so half. That just doesn't make any sense. And when I divide, you'll notice the complete difference between a quotient from a division and the product from a multiplication question, especially with fractions. So it is asking for every 4th mile. So we're going to have to divide. So that 2, remember, it's a whole number. So that 2 becomes 2/1. And I'm going to write down every step. My 2/1 divided by 1/4. I need to find the reciprocal, 2/1. And I'm going to divide by 4/1. I changed and I go to the inverse operation. 2/1 multiplied by 4/1. And that is equal to 8/1, which is equal to 8. Now, do you see how that answer is far more reasonable than saying what the product would be if I multiplied? Remember, the product, if I multiplied, it would just be half. Does that make sense? No, there are 8 signs. But I could also model this. I can model this with a line. Now, this line I'm going to split into 1 mile and 2 mile. And within these miles, I'm going to label every 4th. Now, remember, if it's 1/4, that means there are going to be 4 fourths or 4 quarters in a mile. So I'm going to go again through and label these. This is a great visual. Using a model is one of the most powerful things you can do in math. That model is showing you, hey, I know exactly what this would look like if I had to show it to someone else, if I had to solve it another way, if I had to double check my answer. I mean, it is amazing when you can bring a model to the work. So I labeled every quarter of a mile. So quarter, 2/4, 3/4, 1 mile, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, which is 1 2/4, and 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and then 2 miles. I count up my dots, and there are 8 signs. So I just checked my answer. So booyah, Ms. Billman, she's got it. Sophia had 7/8 of a bag of candy. She decided to split the candy between her R besties. Let's go ahead and change the R to a number. But how much of the bag did each bestie get? Well, let it be known, I would totally splitsies my bag of candy with Mrs. Smith any day. Or, why not my dogs, Winnie and Graham, even though they should not eat candy. So we're going to split that candy into 4 because apparently Sophia has 4 besties. Now, I'm going back to that problem and I'm looking for that word. She's splitting the candy. So I'm going to be dividing. It's going to be 7/8 divided by 4. Now that 4, a common misconception would be, just make it 1/4 automatically. Now, that's not what it is. Remember that 4 is actually 4/1, but then we change it to 1/4 when we find the inverse operation. So don't automatically go to 1/4 and then accidentally do the reciprocal and get 4/1, because then you're going to get the wrong answer. So my numerator is 7 and my denominator is 32. So each of her besties is going to get 7 30-seconds of that bag. Ooh, I hope it's a big bag. I mean, that seems really specific to have to share that number of candy, that amount, with someone else. So each bestie got 7 30-seconds of the candy. Well, I hope it's a big bag or something easy to count at least. Oof, I can only imagine trying to do that with like a candy bar. That'd be pretty rough. Number 7. Caroline and Mary went blueberry picking. Caroline picked 6/7 of a pound and Mary picked half as many. How many pounds did Mary pick? Now we saw a similar problem when I was looking for how much pizza. Now I'm going to multiply. I'm going to be multiplying this. So I'm going to do 6/7 or 6/7, and I'm going to multiply by that half as many, multiply by half. My numerator is 6, my denominator is 14. I can actually simplify this. I know each number is divisible by 2. So my numerator is 3 and my denominator is 7. 3/7, I can't simplify anymore. But I can write it out with a label that Mary picked 3/7 of a pound. I can even check this, doing 3/7 plus 3/7, and I'm going to get 6/7. So, I mean, that's a cool way to be able to check my answer. But with this, again, we multiplied by that 1/2. If we divided, we would have gotten 12/7, which would be crazy. That's definitely not the answer. So let's go through each question. Hopefully you feel good about this. If you're watching this, that must mean we have a quiz coming up soon. But don't worry, I know you got this. I believe in you.